So we'll open it up for questions for Xamiya and Grace. Just raise your hand. Dave?
Xamiya, what was going through your head when you took that shot on one of the final possessions? What does it mean to you to be playing meaningful minutes on a team as just a sophomore?
I definitely think it shows all the work I've put in the off season and coming up through the season. The fact that my teammates have enough trust in me and Coach Joe has enough trust in me to have me out there in those big moments means a lot. Yeah.
Xamiya, talking to Coach before the season, I know three-point shooting has kind of been a focal point this offseason. Is that something you've been working on, and how did you see that play out for you tonight?
Definitely. In high school, I was a more high percentage three-point shooter, so I wanted to show that in college as well and show that it translates. So definitely working on that in the offseason, and it's showing now, so that's awesome.
Ricker.
Yeah. Could you talk a little bit about the work that you put in the off season as you transitioned from last season and this season?
Definitely, I would say individual workouts, doing stuff outside of practice with my dad. He's been my trainer since I was little, and definitely when I go home and focusing on things that I struggled in this past season. Yeah.
Jake.
Grace, what do you think it says about just the character of this group? You guys were able to withstand sort of the adversity and battle back to get a victory, especially when games like this last year, you might not have gotten the same result.
Yeah, we just talked about that too, but that is one of the goals compared to last year, finishing off these tough games, these really close games. And I think this year we have a group that wants to push through those moments. We can deal with this adversity. We know we can. And you could see that at the end. We were totally calm out there. I think we trusted each other, which will be really good going further into the season.
Grace, you personally seemed to get off to a rough start. Turnover on the opening possession, missed a couple shots, missed a couple foul shots, but ultimately led the team in scoring. So when you get off to a rough start like that, how do you, refocus and reevaluate whatever?
Yeah, I think it's definitely come with time, maturity, being a senior. When that happens, those tough moments in the beginning, I just need to, accept that it happened, learn from it, and go on to the next play because I know my team needs me and they need me to score, they need me to play defense. So the only thing I really can do is, next play. Think about that all the time.
Grace, you had 18 rebounds today, so it's all over the glass. How important is it?
Can you ask that again?
18 rebounds. Pretty unbelievable. So how important is it for you to, kind of have that impact on you?
Yeah, Coach Tan and Coach Joe, we've been talking this whole offseason about me needing to rebound more, be on the glass, the offensive glass, defensive glass. And it's funny, so Coach Tan and I had a bet before this game. I do this rebounding drill in my individuals, and if I got 8 rebounds in the game, I wouldn't have to do it next time. So I don't have to do it next time. No, but yeah, I think really just putting the focus on boxing out, using my height for the best. And I think I did that tonight for sure.
Audrey.
Xamiya, just what's it like to play increased minutes? I know last year you were averaging less than 10 minutes per game. You're playing a lot more now. Same thing with Taylor. Just what has it been like for you knowing that you're kind of going to make that sort of jump?
Definitely, it's more mental than physical, I feel like. Just being ready to be out here in moments and close games like this and with my teammates and trusting each other, knowing we can pull out games like this. Dan?
Jake.
This goes for either one of you, but four scores in double figures tonight. I mean, what do you think that just says about just the depth of this year's group and how's that going to help you as the season runs along?
Yeah, I think that I'm looking at it right now. It's impressive, and the depth that we have this season and coming off the bench is great compared to last year. We have more depth, which is amazing for teams to have. But I just think it shows our versatility. You get a different lineup in every time. Shooters on the outside, so I think it's really going to help us overall. Yeah, only good things to say.
Any other questions? Ready?
Grace, you've really developed so many moves in your arsenal with your back to the basket. Can you talk us through some of your favorite moves in the post and kind of how you've developed those over your time here?
Well, my favorite is obviously the fadeaway. I mean, that's my go-to. But I think that my position coaches, they've really helped me recognize that teams are going to scout that. So I need to become a more versatile player down there. So obviously I have my mid-range as well, but those hook shots, other back to the basket, like shimmy shake moves, just to get the defense off me and, stay comfortable down there, give myself an open shot.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Wow.
Coach, you want to get us going with an opening statement?
Yeah. First game, really well coached team, and Indy really came to play. Give them a lot of credit. and their staff. And the way they play is a little bit unique, and dribble, drive, and spread you out, and isolate. A lot of situations. And we got to be able to guard that, because people in the Big Ten do the same thing, and so I give them a lot of credit. I'm proud of our team for this. We just couldn't put them away. We got up 9. We never got up double figures, and we just we got to get stops and come down and score. When you have those opportunities to maybe go up 10, 12, instead it went the other way. The runs, then they made a run. So we got a lot to work on. We got to make free throws. We can't turn the ball over. We're a unique, streaky 3-point shooting team, which is coach's nightmares. Both ends, because you don't know. I see us in practice, and I feel like we're a lot better beyond the line, which will stretch out. They made it tough on Grace and Taylor, and Deja, our big kids inside. They compact it, and you got to make shots when that happens. So, we got a lot to work on, but it's. I think we needed just. I was proud of our team from this standpoint. When they came back and took the lead, we did a really good job closing the game out, not panicking, and then we got a big rebound. Tate made big free throws. Obviously, my shot to give us the lead back was huge, and in some of these games, like I think you guys mentioned, last year, we might have let that slip, and this year I think they're feeling like we're going to find ways to win these games. So a lot of work to do, but really tough, hard-nosed win tonight.
Audrey and then Jake.
Coach, you mentioned relinquishing that lead so late. 23 seconds left. Grace has that sort of costly offensive foul. I see you throw your hands up in the air. What's sort of going through your head in that moment?
Well, I was, again, I just feel like she was the target tonight of 2 or 3 people coming at her, and and we have to, we got to get used to that, because it's going to happen. She's playing so well that she's going to be the target of other teams, and the biggest thing was make sure that we, got a stop, got a rebound, and made sure we got a good shot. So that's, even when they took the lead, I felt like we were, we had the right people on the floor, and they were, we'd gotten good shots the last, 3 or 4 possessions. So basically it. Yeah.
Coach, how does a game like that from like Xamiya's tonight, and just the poise that she showed in a huge moment, just sort of showcase her ability to take a second-year leap with this program?
Yeah, she, Maya is one of our hardest workers. She lives in the gym, puts a lot of time in, and I think we're asking a lot from her too, to play point guard, to score off the ball, and then to defend. Bigger, quicker players, and so she's doing a great job. And I feel like her confidence level is really good. So.
We'll go back right here. Go.
Yeah, Coach. So you mentioned the turnovers. 19 tonight. What do you think kind of led to that, and how do you kind of clean that up moving forward?
Yeah, they just played. They played Monday night, and they turned the other team over 25 times. So, that's we got to handle that kind of pressure. We have to have the ability to back cut, make layups, finish, make the extra pass. And, I think we got stagnant. We stood, and we started to force the ball inside. So, we got to clean that up. But what would really help is when you make shots from the perimeter, and, that would make Taylor and Grace, their life a little easier. And so that's, we got to be a much better team this year handling the ball.
Yeah, Coach, as you mentioned, it was very much like a back and forth affair, especially at the end, a lot of counter punches. What did you like most about the way your team responded and kind of the resilience they showed down the stretch? Yeah,
it came down to a couple plays, and I think the big one was getting the rebound on the missed free throw at the end with 8 seconds, I want to say, and then Tate, we got the ball to half court. She got fouled, and I thought she did a great job going to the line. So those type things, you got to make those plays. When they miss a free throw, you can't give that back up. And finding Xamiya when we did out of a double team, and for her to drill that shot, just again, a confidence builder for us. But we got a lot of people that can shoot. They just, I don't know, maybe Halloween affected them or something. I don't know. They just, hopefully Sunday will be a lot better from 3.
Obviously Northwestern was winning for the majority of the game, but then lost the lead with 11 seconds to go. Could you talk about the importance of staying strong through the fourth quarter and specifically defensively?
Yeah, that's all we talked about, was making stops, and getting to being in the right position and forcing them into, taking tough shots. And like I said, they're one thing we preach this year with this team is to be more physical, but, we fouled a lot tonight. We got to stop that. But the one thing, Indy is very physical on offense. And, we talk about that too, to be a much more physical offensive team, screening people, getting to the rim. And they got to the rim hard on us. But, I thought we handled the last couple possessions. But we got to be more physical on both ends.
Coach, I think your first 2 players off the bench were Deja and Claire. We didn't see a whole lot from them tonight, but what did you see that kind of put your trust in them to bring them off the bench first?
Yeah, Deja got in deep foul trouble, so that kind of, put her in a tough situation because she's a great defender, rebounder, and we expect a lot from her. So I think that the fouls really kept her on the bench. Claire is, again, she's probably the best shooter that we have, and I think, I've seen her hit 5-6 threes in situations, and she just plays really hard. It's just situation. This game became situational, so it probably cut into her minutes, and.
Should we be expecting to see more of her? I know she played more tonight than she did the entirety of last season. So have you seen kind of a big progression from her in the offseason?
Claire?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, thanks. She's, she had some injuries last year that held her out, and she's a great high school player in Boston area, and, she's as good a shooter as I think we're going to see in the Big Ten once we get her going a little bit. So, great expectations for her. Yeah.
Coach, in the part of the season where players are still trying to make the rotation, what does it mean to you to have your bench so invested in the team and each other's success?
Yeah, you heard Grace and Xamiya talk about, this team, and these guys really care about each other. Our practices are lively and upbeat, and they're unselfish. They want her to succeed as much as her. So it's it's a fun team from that respect. And our great teams were like that. That they were unselfish, and when you had a Veronica Burden or Lindsay Pulliam, they didn't want the credit. They wanted shared. And I think we're seeing some of that with these guys. I would take Burton and Pulliam right now, but.
You guys, 31 combined rebounds from Grace and Taylor tonight. I mean, how would you just characterize the commitment both have shown on the glass this year?
Yeah, and the one thing Grace did, which we need, she went to the offensive glass. So, if we can get her, because she's really quick and she's really strong, and we're seeing a much more, I'm trying to think of the right word, but with her, a much more dedicated commitment to going to the glass, because, she also had a lot of games where she got 2 rebounds, and you heard her, talk about how hard she's addressing that, and, she's a great shot blocker, and then for her to get, 18 rebounds, I don't care, it doesn't matter, and hopefully that'll carry over. So when you see her next game, just ask her how many. Don't even ask. Just say, how many did you get? Right? And all right, guys, appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you. Yeah.